1,000-word single paragraph. The noon sun hung over the barren Wyoming ranch like a blistering coin of fire, baking the dust, the fences, and every inch of the old timber barn where Elena Rowan had followed, rancher Cole Maddox inside. She had come seeking work, something temporary, something quiet, but what she stepped into was a silence too heavy to be ordinary. Cole was a tall man, weather-beaten, slow-spoken, and always carrying the weight of unspoken stories in the slump of his shoulders. That afternoon he pushed open the warped barn door and motioned her in. "Close it behind you," he said calmly, his voice a low rumble swallowed by the hollow dimness. Elena obeyed. Her boots crunched over straw and grit as she looked around, noticing old saddles, tools, and crates stacked like neglected ghosts waiting for a reason to matter again. But one crate stood out, massive, dark, reinforced with iron straps that looked newer than the wood itself. It sat like a sleeping beast in the center of the barn. Before she could ask anything, Cole wiped sweat from his brow and muttered, "Too big. Just sit on it." She blinked in confusion. Sit on it? Was he serious? But Cole wasn't a man who joked. He motioned again, oddly urgent this time. "Go on. Just sit." She frowned but stepped toward it. The crate was enormous, longer than a man, wider than a table, heavy enough that the reinforced braces made disturbing sense. She hesitated. "Why?" she asked. Cole's jaw tightened. "Because," he said, "if you don't keep weight on it, something inside might push up the lid." Elena froze. Her pulse spiked. Something inside? She placed a hand on the crate first. The wood was warm, not from sunlight but from something underneath. Something shifting. Something breathing. Cole took a slow step back as if keeping distance was wise. "Don't panic," he said, though he himself looked like he very much was. Elena swallowed hard and finally climbed onto the crate, sitting squarely on its center. For a moment nothing happened. Then tap, tap, scrape. A slow pressure rose beneath, her like fingers pushing up from under the boards. Elena's breath hitched. "Cole, what is that?" Cole rubbed a hand over his stubble. "If I told you, you'd get off that crate and run. Straight out of Wyoming." The pressure grew stronger, enough that the crate thudded once beneath her like a heartbeat. She almost leapt off, but Cole's voice cut sharply through the rising panic. "Stay put!" She forced herself still. Sweat gathered on her neck. "Tell me what's inside." Cole shook his head. "I didn't think it'd wake up so soon." A chill raced down Elena's spine. "Wake up?" Cole continued, voice low. "2 nights ago, hunters from the north brought me this crate. Paid me to hold it till sunset today. Said it was dangerous but docile if kept in the dark." The crate shuddered beneath, Elena interrupting him. She pressed her palms hard against the lid to keep her balance. "This isn't docile," she hissed. Cole nodded grimly. They didn't exactly describe it as friendly. "So why accept it?" she snapped. Cole looked away, shame flickering over his face. "Because the money was too much to refuse." The crate thumped, again harder. Wood flexed beneath Elena, making her gasp. She felt heat rising from inside, heat like breath. Then for the first time, she heard it, a low, muffled growl. Not like any animal she'd heard before. Deep. Ancient. Wrong. "Cole," she whispered. "We need to get out of here." "Can't," he said. "If it gets loose, this whole ranch will be gone." The barn rattled as something hit the inside of the crate with force powerful enough to shift Elena an inch. She grabbed the metal straps. "Do you even know what it looks like?" Cole hesitated. "Only saw its eyes through a crack." The crate thumped again. Dust fell from the rafters. The growl deepened, vibrating through her bones. "And," she whispered. Cole swallowed. The eyes weren't animal. Elena's heart pounded helplessly. Another slam shook the crate. She squeezed her eyes shut, praying the iron straps would hold. But in the corner of her vision, she saw something. One of the metal buckles bending outward, pulled from the inside. "Cole!" she screamed. He rushed forward, slammed his knee against the bending latch, and tried to hammer it back in place with his fist. The crate roared, yes, roared, and a surge of raw power beneath Elena nearly unseated her. She held on with everything she had, pressing down with her full weight. "It knows we're here," she shouted. Cole gritted his teeth and whispered, "Elena, whatever happens, don't get off." The crate bulged. A crack appeared, and Elena finally realized whatever was under her wasn't just alive. It was trying to break free, and she was the only thing keeping it from escaping. 1,000-word single paragraph. The crate shook so violently that Elena nearly lost her grip, sliding toward the edge as dust burst from the seams like powder from a shaken volcano. Cole grabbed her arm just in time and pulled her back to the center, shouting over the thunderous bangs erupting from beneath the wooden lid. The barn walls trembled as though the thing inside was too big, not only for the crate, but for the building itself. Elena gritted her teeth, using every ounce of her strength to remain seated as the lid swelled upward again. She felt the creature's breath through the thin cracks, hot, heavy, and unnervingly intelligent. "Cole," she cried, "we can't hold it forever." He tossed aside an old toolbox and began dragging heavy iron chains toward the crate. "We don't need forever," he grunted, "just long enough to reinforce the lid." The creature slammed again, lifting Elena an inch before gravity yanked her back down. Her bones rattled. "What are these chains for?" Cole didn't answer until he wrapped the first coil over the crate. "This thing was chained up before they put it in the box. These are the same restraints." "Why didn't you tell me?" Elena snapped, furious. "Because," Cole said while tightening a bolt, "you wouldn't have gone near the crate." The creature inside growled, a deep vibrating rumble that made the barn's window panes quiver. Elena swallowed fear. "And what were you planning, just sitting on it yourself?" Cole paused. "I was, but then you showed up looking for work and I—" Elena glared. "You used me as bait." "As weight," he corrected quickly. "Not bait. I'd never—" The crate bucked violently. Both of them staggered. One of the metal braces snapped with a sharp metallic scream, flying across the barn and embedding itself into a wooden beam. Elena gasped. Cole's eyes widened. "We're out of time." The lid cracked, splitting along one seam as massive dark claws punched through the wood. Not animal claws, not human, something in between. The barn filled with the creature's ragged breathing as it wedged its limb upward, breaking the boards. Elena felt the crate rising with every heave. "Cole, it's getting out," she yelled. Cole grabbed the loose chains and tried to loop them across the lid, but a second claw burst through, shredding wood like paper. The crate tilted violently. Elena slid off, balanced right as something beneath the crate gave way and the boards buckled. A massive shape surged upward, roaring, splintering the crate apart in a violent eruption of wood and dust. Cole tackled Elena, dragging her behind a stack of hay bales just in time. The roar shook the barn. Elena wiped dust from her eyes and looked up. There, rising from the shattered crate, was a hulking shape covered in thick stone-like scales, its eyes glowing faintly like embers buried deep in ash. The creature unfurled itself, long limbs, elongated jaw, and a bone ridge running down its spine. A thing not of this world. A thing that shouldn't have existed. "Cole," Elena whispered. "That's no animal." "No," Cole breathed. "It's older." The creature's eyes fixed on them. It stepped forward, the ground trembling with each thudding step. Elena grabbed Cole's arm. "We have to run." "We can't," he said. "If it reaches the horses, the valley, the river, then what?" she demanded. "We die trying to stop it?" The creature lunged. They dove aside, rolling across the dirt as its claw sliced the air. Cole grabbed a rusted pitchfork and thrust it toward the beast, only for the fork to snap against its scaled hide. Elena scrambled toward the barn wall, spotting the rope that operated the loft hatch. Without thinking, she leapt for it and pulled with all her strength. The loft door above the creature snapped open and a rain of heavy hay bales plummeted. They crashed onto the beast, burying it in a suffocating heap. Dust exploded everywhere. The creature roared beneath the weight, thrashing. Cole ran to Elena. "Good thinking, but it won't hold." "Then we need to leave," she insisted. "Now." But Cole shook his head. "I'm ending this. I can't let it escape." He grabbed a lantern and smashed it against a support beam, letting fire catch the old dry hay. Flames began licking upward instantly. Elena's eyes widened. "Cole, you'll burn the whole ranch down." "Better the ranch," he said, "than the world outside." The creature burst free of the hay pile, roaring in fury as the fire spread. Smoke filled the barn. Cole grabbed Elena's hand. "Run!" They sprinted through the barn as the creature charged behind them, fire reflecting in its blazing eyes. They reached the door. Cole shoved Elena through first. She stumbled into the sunlight, coughing. Behind her, Cole turned back toward the creature. "Cole!" she screamed. But he didn't run. He held the burning beam he'd pulled from the fire, a final stand. The creature lunged. The barn collapsed. Flame, roar, dust, everything swallowed in one thunderous crash. When the smoke cleared, the creature was gone. The barn was gone, and Cole Maddox lay on the ground, barely conscious but alive.